Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. I'm not going to ramble on with the usual long stuff because I'm just going to show some titles under the screen saying watch us on the web and, community policing is great and all the rest of it. I want to introduce you to a true political maven, an excellent campaign manager. And, he's had some really great candidates that he's really pushed the vote totals up for through the years, and we're talking about Paul Miller. Paul, how you doing?
Good, Avi. Great to be with you again.
First of all, my pleasure. And what's on the political agenda this time around?
Well, a lot going on right now. I think as this is airing right now, we've just finished the petitions, so we're going to get an idea of really who the candidates are, not just for the general election, but obviously first and foremost the primary. So that's going to take place on March 18th. So over the next few weeks, you'll probably see a bit of a lull, I think, in campaigning because of the holidays. But after the first of the year, you're going to see things really stepped up. Obviously, we have a huge governor's race, especially on the GOP side, regarding 4 major candidates who are, seeking to take on Governor Quinn, who obviously is now running unchallenged in his primary since Bill Daley pulled out.
Yeah, no question about it. And we are trying to get. I have invitations out, I think, to all 4 of those candidates. Mm-hmm. Also Quinn. I'm trying to be fair about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got to have everyone on, especially since there's a lot going on. And actually, you can maybe make the argument that there's not a lot going on in Springfield. With the veto session ending, obviously the big accomplishment, depending on how you view it, was the gay marriage bill, or marriage equality, depending on your choice of words. But we have touched nothing with pensions, nothing with our debt or deficit. And that's something that a lot of people are asking, what's going to be going on, because economically the state still continues to head downward. Now a lot of the news, as you've been seeing, a lot of the discussion is about the city of Chicago. City of Chicago has a huge pension problem itself. It's separate than just the state pension issues. So now you're dealing with taxpayers in both the city and the rest of the state that are really kind of in a limbo about what's going to be happening with anything from their property taxes. Are we going to be getting a progressive tax? How are we going to settle this pension issue? And honestly, that is probably going to have to be the big issue regarding, I think, the November election from an Illinois side. And then I think you're still going to have an impact of Obamacare, which obviously this rollout has been nothing short of a disaster. And you're seeing the impact of that even on certain races that you just saw happen this past November regarding the race in Virginia for governor, as well as what happened in New Jersey. Chris Christie basically winning almost 2-1 in a very blue state is telling. It also tells about the type of candidate he is and the impact he can have with a lot of independent and even some Democratic voters.
Yeah, interestingly, by the way, I saw there was a poll I saw in Real Clear Politics where in a national race right now, it's Hillary 43 and Christie 41 on a national basis.
Yeah, and a lot of people, of course, the media wants to paint Hillary as the foregone conclusion for the Democrats, and they already want to maybe crown her as the next president of the United States. But there's going to be obviously a huge primary battle on the GOP side. She is not going to go unchallenged. And, we were having this conversation back in 2007, where was she going to be basically anointed, that no one was really going to challenge her. Well, then there was a sitting senator in Illinois named Barack Obama who really, turned the tables, and that can happen again.
I was 100% sure she was going to be there. I also thought she was the right person because I believe that the Democrats and Republicans, they trade places. If you look historically at votes, you almost never see 12 years in a row of a party. I mean, the exceptions would be Roosevelt and George H. Bush, the first one, won after Reagan, but quickly got reversed thereafter. Otherwise, anytime you have a 2-term president, it's almost always the other party that comes in next time around. And I thought Hillary at least would have achieved some sort of compromise and worked with people. And I don't think, there still would have been some gridlock, but I don't think as bad as it is now. I mean, I was looking at my Facebook page this morning. I hate you, and then the other side, I hate you, and you're blankety blank, and you're blankety blank. I mean, it's not the way to make things work.
No, the political divide is obviously the largest it's been in my lifetime, and I'm 43 right now, so I've never seen it this bad. And you look at social media and the way things get out so quickly now, and where people really just have these huge debates, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or some of these social media outlets, it almost like reinforces your own opinions, and we have become more and more entrenched in our beliefs. And there's so much information out there to help defend our own positions that unfortunately we're not able to reach a lot of compromise. What tends to bring us back, I think, is a particular issue that really can affect the majority of the country, something that's undeniable. You might have that right now with the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. I don't think you can ignore what happened last month in Virginia with the gubernatorial race. Terry McAuliffe pulling it out by really a mere few percentage points is really telling, because it's truly a purple state. It's a state that is not fond of social conservatives whatsoever. However, his opponent, Ken Cuccinelli, was a staunch social conservative. He ran on a lot of those issues. He did not hide who he was. You can really make a legitimate argument that he just was not a match for nearly the majority of that state at all. However, when people were seeing really was, in all honesty, two extremely flawed candidates without a doubt, but they were starting to get their letters about Obamacare. They were getting their cancellations, they were seeing their premiums rise up, and literally within a week, you saw this 12 to 14 point lead diminish to a tie to maybe a 2-point lead for McAuliffe. Ultimately, that's how the election ended, and if the Libertarian candidate didn't get 6% of the vote, Cuccinelli probably would have won. And that is something that I believe that Democrats especially are looking at. They know that they got a bad sign. A bad message was sent to them from the Virginia race. This is something that's resonating across the country. It's early. The next election is going to be 11 months from now, obviously for the general. But if things continue this negative trend down regarding Obamacare, as well as the fact that we're becoming such a part-time employed economy, I think 2014 for Republicans is going to be the same as 2010. Just basically a big landslide. And it's looking more and more that they would have a good chance of capturing also the Senate. And if you also remember, basically a month and a half ago from the time this aired, everyone was saying Republicans were done because of the government shutdown. After the government shutdown ended, 2 weeks later, no one remembered it. Why? They were getting their Obamacare notices.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. I mean, people do have, I've learned a long time ago, people have short memories beyond belief. Mm-hmm. I still like to remind some of my friends that told me that Blagojevich was head over heels better than everybody else. But
yes. Yeah, well, you know what? Hindsight's 20/20. You live and learn. But I also think about how my father is the only one I know that admits that he voted for Richard Nixon twice.
Wow.
So this is a guy, Richard Nixon won in 1972 in this massive landslide. Find someone who wants to admit that they actually voted for Nixon. It's very interesting. This is a guy that won huge nationally, but no one apparently voted for him.
Well, nobody wants to admit it anymore.
Yes, exactly. And that's probably another thing that you see with the political divide is that people hate to be wrong. Human nature, we don't like to admit our mistakes. Still, a lot of people don't want to admit whether they thought that their vote for Obama was the correct one or not. I mean, personally thinking, I think his presidency has been atrocious. I think the fundamental changes we've seen in our nation are something we're going to take a generation to recover. I mean, again, I go back to what's happened with employment in this situation, in this country, where we become this part-time workforce. And this isn't good for anybody. So I think these are things that are going to have really negative effects for Democrats moving forward. However, you're still going to get people to admit they were wrong. Only time will tell.
Yeah, admitting and, like I said, people do have very short memories when it comes to these things. There's no question about it. I'm not going to talk about Obama now, but I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan. I'm proud to say that when he ran for Senate, I was dead set against him. When he ran for president, I was dead set against him. And frankly, I voted for Hillary. That's who I thought would have done a really good job. And unfortunately, he might have tarnished her for the future. I shouldn't say unfortunately, but the fact is, the whole Benghazi thing, the more that comes to light, it's just a bad situation. It really is. He's really messed up a lot of his own people.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, what we still don't really know, I think, what really happened there, because not enough has come out. The media coverage has been extremely poor. I think, I'm not going to use the term cover-up, but I think it's something that's always going to be leering out there that it could be something that could be her downfall later. However, remember, every election cycle, we always talk about these possibilities that could be a candidate's downfall. They rarely ever come to fruition.
That's probably true. At this point, Mickey's hands really say we got to get moving. If people would like to contact you?
Oh, you can go to my website, which is pauliegroup.com, Paulie Group. .com. You can also just email me directly at Paulie, P-A-U-L-I-E, at pauliegroup.com. Very excited about the upcoming election year. I'm dealing with a great candidate up in Lake County who's running for treasurer named Jerry Adelson. Real exciting. Young woman, CPA. Really going to be someone that's going to, I think, really energize the GOP.
Yeah, we're going to have to get her on the show. In the meantime, thank you very much.